Hey everyone, Extreme Narwhal here, or if you're coming from Reddit, Ty5142. While scrolling through the Guild Wars 2 community subreddit, I found a well-written guide by Drake and Netto on getting Guild Wars 2 to run through a different renderer such as DXVK to get better performance. Link in the description. So, this is great. More performance with a few clicks to help this 12-year-old game perform at its best, which is also incredibly notorious for bottlenecking even the most god tier of systems. So, I'm going to give DXVK a try and compare it to DX11 in a few different scenarios for performance sake. So, two big caveats before we begin. 1. Guild Wars 2 is an MMO, and it is hard to replicate the scenarios needed for a perfect one-to-one comparison in large events. So take the numbers shown on screen as within the ballpark and not as exact. 2. All runs done with DXVK were done so after a couple of hours of normal gameplay to let Vulkan shaders compile and to build a cache. So with that, let's hop into it. Running these tests on an RTX 4090, a Ryzen 7800 X3D, 64GB of CO30, 6000MHz RAM at 1440p ultra-wide resolution. I'll throw out my settings on screen as well. I have just about everything maxed out with the exception of character model limit only being set at high. Let's start out with Convergences, as having an instanced arena with 50 players would give the most accurate read on performance numbers. In this regard, DXVK wins in most areas, but the numbers are where I would consider margin of error except at maximum recorded frame rate where DX11 wins. Next is Dragonstorm, another 50-player instanced area, great for getting a good read on the numbers. DXVK wins again in most areas, but the numbers are still in the area where I would consider margin of error, except for minimums where DXVK wins, and then trades maximums where DX11 wins out. Chak Garent meta event exhibits the same type of performance seen, but now in the open world. DX11 and DXVK are trading blows in the same margin of error area of the performance numbers. Next up is Lion's Arch, which is a fair win for DX11. There is something I did notice about my run through with DXVK, where every run through the city seemed to produce stuttering, even after having a couple of hours to let the Vulkan shaders compile. These stutters would still show up and are represented in the 0.1% lows of the bar graph. Finally, the Garent Tarir meta event. This one also seems to be a DX11 win, but numbers are still in the margin of error except in the max frame rate where DXVK easily wins out. Both renderers did not survive the Tarnished Trader and fell to staggering 3 FPS. So after running these numbers, my personal opinion on if you should try DXVK is no, with a big asterisk. For a modern system, the numbers all remain for the most part in margin of error. So for everyone just downloading the game, well, you're generally getting a decent performance experience without modifications. Though there might be a case where those with not as a powerful system could run the game through DXVK to carve out a bit more performance for themselves. Even then, if you run Raid Core Nexus or Arc DPS, well, it broke those add-ons for me. There are ways to get those working. The commenters on the Reddit guide did report back that they were able to get their add-ons working with DXVK going along with it as well. But for most people, I just can't really recommend DXVK just because it seems like DX11 works out the best, especially without having to deal with the shader compilation stutters DXVK has. And that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, give it a like, and if you didn't, well, just shout out me in the comments. Thanks.